you gentlemen.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call. Mary Becker Witt?
Here.
Glenn Zeri?
Here.
Wayne Jones?
Yes.
Phil Landis?
Yes.
Ted Botzer? Tyler Dula?
Here.
Jeff Don?
Here.
And before we do the approval of the agenda, we have a new face sitting at our table here, and so I want to welcome Grace, our new staff person, and I don't know if you prepared a speech or not, or if you want to
Yes, thank you for that, because I was gonna, if you didn't say it, I was gonna use the opportunity after roll call to introduce Grace. Grace joined us yesterday, so we're pulling her right into the excitement. And Grace actually just graduated from DePaul University in Chicago, so we're super excited to have her on board, and she's from Norton Shores, so kind of getting back into her neck of the woods, and you know, she's excited to be back on the west side, so.
Not a total culture shock.
Yes, right.
She knew what she was
right.
getting into.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. So, yeah, we're excited to have her on the team and for the department to be fully staffed again, and just looking forward to how we'll all grow together, so.
Yeah.
Well, welcome aboard.
Well, we're a pretty miserable group, so.
Yeah, we have the boys club and one female.
All of us in there.
Mary, I never noticed.
I never noticed it
Right?
You notice there's a gap.
Yeah, where's Chad? Come on. All right.
Shuffle these around a bit more.
Yes. Okay, so now we'll go to the approval of the agenda.
I'll make a motion we approve the agenda.
Support.
Any questions or comments? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Okay, next on our agenda is public comment for our agenda items. So if you're here to talk about an agenda item, which I'm assuming you all seem to know Joanne, so you're probably here for the solar project in Norman. We do have a time limit. You know, I don't know if you have a spokesperson, if you're all each gonna speak. I know you signed in, so we'll have your names, so I don't have to remind you that we need your names for the record. But if you will limit it to like 1 to 2 minutes. And during the public comment, we take comment, we will hear what you have to say. We do not answer or engage during that public comment. We will have our discussion down under the agenda, under the township. So, okay. And Joanne, I think you were first on the sheet. Did you
I'm
want?
fine. Okay, I'm gonna just read my statement. It's maybe 2 minutes. I'll try to talk fast. Members of the Planning Commission, thank you for your opportunity to speak today regarding the proposed amendment to the Norman Township zoning ordinance, which seeks to add utility-scale ground-mounted solar energy developments as a special land use in residential agricultural districts. While I understand the regional push for renewable energy, I'm here today to urge this commission to recommend denial of this amendment, or at the very least recommend a temporary moratorium. A decision of this magnitude, which permanently alters our landscape, deserves meticulous planning. Unfortunately, the process leading to this proposal has been rushed, deeply flawed, and lacking in due diligence. I ask you to consider the following. The Norman Township Planning Commission spent over 3 years meticulously crafting its master plan that was recently adopted. Throughout the entire multi-year process, renewable energy projects were never once discussed. This entire initiative was abruptly introduced on April 28th of this year by the local zoning official. By May 9th, a public hearing was noticed in the newspaper. 3 days before a formal application was even received, putting the cart before the horse. A zoning change that impacts agricultural and residential area, most notably those in close proximity to Tippy Dam, which has been a prime recreational area and home to the endangered Indiana bat, should not be fast-tracked in a matter of weeks when the master plan took years to build. On May 26th, the public hearing was held, and this sweeping township-wide amendment was voted on and approved with only 3 of the 5 commission members present. A decision that permanently impacts the zoning rights and cultural character of the entire community should command the attention, presence, and vote of the full body, not a bare minimum quorum. Furthermore, during the initial introduction, the environmental impact study provided by the developer was treated lightly, with the zoning official jokingly suggesting that because they had skimmed it, no one else needed to read it. Our community deserves a rigorous, independent review of developer-provided data and not a casual dismissal. The residential agricultural districts in Norman Township are in close proximity to the Tippy Dam, a known habitat for the endangered Indiana bat. Not once did the commission discuss implementing an environmental protection overlay district before rushing this amendment through. Allowing large-scale solar arrays without fully understanding the ecological impact on a federally protected endangered species is an unacceptable risk. The argument that this amendment creates regulatory harmony with the Manistee County ignores the unique ecological and procedural gaps currently present in Norman Township. While solar energy development may be inevitable, it must be done responsibly. Now is the time to take a pause. I respectfully request that this county commission recommend a moratorium on this amendment or a flat-out denial. Let us give Norman Township the time to fully research where these projects are best suited, ensure a full board is present to vote, and properly protect our agricultural lands and endangered wildlife. Thank you.
I don't know, yeah.
Okay, so I recognize this is just like an attendance list, but I'll just kind of go through if you'd like to speak. Go ahead when I call your name, if not, pass. I think it's Ted.
Yes.
Ted?
Okay. I have a letter here from a representative here.
John
I'd like to
Roth.
read. John Roth. Okay. It says, "Dear Commissioners, I am writing to express my concern regarding the proposed solar development on Tippy Dam Road. While I understand responsible renewable energy development, I believe projects of this scale should not be located in areas that do not negatively impact the character of adjacent wilderness, forested lands, and environmentally sensitive areas. The Tippy Dam area is a unique natural resource that is valued by residents and visitors alike, and like any development proposed near these lands deserves careful consideration. I encourage the Planning Commission to weigh the long-term impacts of this project on the surrounding landscape and community before moving forward with approval. Just thank you for your service and thoughtful consideration of this matter. Sincerely, John Ross." I would also like to add that I own property, very, very close to this. I went around to all the neighbors around, and none of the neighbors even bordering this property were even aware of this. So this is kind of snuck by, in my opinion, without public knowledge or any input whatsoever. So I'm requesting that, again, there should be some type of moratorium on it. The people's voices should be heard on this. It impacts our natural forest. Many people move here, retire here, that have the beauty and the scenic value of the forest, not to see it clear cut for solar panels. There are many other areas where the land is already tree cut, it wouldn't have the impact on the habitat and those sort of things. So I'm urging you guys to reconsider this for the sake of our community.
Dan?
I'm Dan, I live on Baker Road within a quarter mile of Tippy Dam. Tippy Dam Road is the main thoroughfare to get to the dam for sportsmen. I don't feel that sportsmen come up here to enjoy the natural beauty of forests, the lakes, the rivers, to drive by a solar farm, to get to their fishing spot. They drove from downstate when this is commonplace to come up here and recreate. And this is just, I don't see the sense of that location whatsoever. So, please vote against it.
Paul?
Thank you for the opportunity to be in front of you folks. I have been with this group of people as neighbors for quite a while, and I can't understand how our township did not take the time to give the residents of our township the attempt or the time to be able to present themselves as we're presenting ourselves to you folks about the situation of two things. One, there is a 5-mile radius from the dam protecting the banks. This is going to be a big change, and there's been no consideration by the township about this regulation. And secondly, the manner in which our township leaders have basically ignored us. They may have done whatever they felt they wanted to do without our input. This is the first group of people relevant to zoning who actually we have been able to get in front of and explain to them what our local township has failed to do for us as residents. Thank you for your opportunity, our opportunity to be in front of you folks. Please, give this serious consideration at what is trying to be rammed down our throats without any input by us, the residents. Thank you.
And, Tim? Good. Wait. Jim? Would you like to speak?
I sure would. I'll stand over here because I don't like to have my back to anybody. Hi there, young lady. Name's Jim Hill. I live on Tippy Dam Road. Came to Michigan 56 years ago to fish the big river. I love that river. Love the people. Love the town. Love the woods. Moved here full time about 10, 12 years ago. I'm not against solar. I'm not against wind. I'm not against any renewable energy. But what I think is sad is the way big business goes about town to town to town. Yesterday I saw Atwell down in Scottville surveying. I was in Hart the other day. They've taken farm by farm by farm. Beautiful rolling hills. And just, yes, it was just sad. But it's the 21st century. I understand it. I'm 82 years old. In another few years I won't even know what solar is. You know? But my kids, your kids, grandkids, they're gonna bear the brunt of what these people are doing to us. I'm not opposed to business. I've been in business for 60 years. Not opposed to it. We'll have to make a living. But these big corporations prey on people like us, all of us. All of us. Because we don't have the means to fight them. Financially, they beat us down. They lie to us. They manipulate. They don't, if they told the truth, did something on top of the table, it might be worth listening to. But they don't. They do the bat study. They didn't do a bat study. They did a bat study convenient to satisfy themselves and hopefully satisfy the township. They didn't take the eagles into effect within a 5-mile radius. The bat study, there's 3 or 4 endangered species that are at Tippy Dam. It's the largest bat colony in Michigan. You know, and not only that, where Ted lives, over in that area right there, that's prime forest land. Everybody else is taking up some of these pastures to clear cut 40 acres or 35 acres to put it into a solar farm. It's really not that big a farm by today's standards, and as they're getting to be, it's like desecration of the worst sort. And its proximity to the big Manistee River and the backwaters, it just doesn't make sense. But as it was said before, Ted or something, nobody knew about it. I found about it accidentally talking to Ted or somebody. And I said, no, there's no solar farm going on. Well, yes, there was. You go to town, nobody wants to know. And I'm not knocking the Wilson people. I'm not knocking you. No, it's just that these people come in. They don't care about us. They don't care. If you were on fire, they wouldn't throw water on you. They care about their bottom line. They care about big business, which is fine to make money. We all want to make a living. But to do this, and we are, all of us in this room, can pretty much touch the Manistee National Forest somewhere. I'm bordered by it, fortunately enough. You know, by design, I bought that way. But to come into these areas and do that for what? For money? For money that none of us in this room need? And to leave our kids to bear the brunt of this, clean this garbage up down the road? No, it's just sad. It's sad. So, but I know they have all the marbles. We don't. And they prey on us. You know, but we're all in a appointed position somewhere, regardless of what side of the table we're on. Somebody either gave us a job or got you or got something. But it's up to us to be the custodians of what God gave us. We live in the most beautiful. The longer I'm in Michigan, the more I love it. And I'm from Vermont, where it's really mountain. But the longer I'm here, the more I love it. And we all should. Don't let them beat us up for a couple of bucks. If you don't get, I don't get you. None of us get it. We don't get that. And it's sad. You know, it just shouldn't be. And I could go on forever, but I'm not gonna.
I was gonna say, I'd have to take you there, then, Jim.
You know,
Can I have my
Yeah.
2 minutes to say I passed a minute ago?
Thank you all.
May I have
Hey,
my
hey,
Of
speech?
course.
hey, hey.
Thanks, Jim.
Okay. My name's Tim Plum, and I moved up here. I've had a cabin up here in Wellston for 15, 16 years. Moved up here full-time 4 years ago. The resources up here are great and fantastic. If this gets approved, it sets precedents for future places to pop in. They're already trying to shut the dams down. They're saying they're gonna pass them on. We all know what's happening there. They're gonna shut them down. And the infrastructure's already in place, so now, oh, well, we got one solar farm, well, what's to sell, what's to say, let's get another 40 acres down the street, put another solar farm in, another solar, well, we got solar farms here, we got 50 megawatts now, let's put a data center in. And where are we gonna cool that from? Oh, the Manistee River? What happens to the fish in the Manistee River when water starts warming up and stuff like that. The bats that are there at Tippy Dam, there's 4 species of bats. The bats, a couple of them are endangered, but they're the only known surviving species of bats in the country right now. They're actually doing studies on them that get this white nose syndrome or whatever it is, and them bats are the only thriving population out here. When they see them, so when they're flying around at night or wherever, it looks like water to them when that glistening of them solar panels are there. And what's going to happen? They're going to go crashing in there. The backwaters holds. If you get out on the backwaters and ride out there, you're going to see eagles' nest out there. What's going to happen to that? So it's greed by a few that are trying to take away the resources for the rest of us. It's not right. And like they've all stated, we were kind of railroaded. This has been streamlined and pushed behind. It was real quiet about it. I just happened to overhear comments about it, and I started talking with Ted about it. He's like, "What are you talking about?" I said, "We got a solar farm going right down the street from you." What? And that's basically how a lot of this started, is because it was just hush-hushed and nobody knew about it. And so, yeah, we allow this 35 acres the solar farm goes in. The next guy down the road has 40 acres for sale. Oh, well, hey, let's connect that. All they have to, corporate America's got to do is sit there and state, well, we've got this one here, this one here, this one here, this one here. We're all interconnected. We got our 50 megawatts. Go to the state, cuts you guys out, cuts all of our say-so out of this, and then the state comes in and allows it to go through. It's not right for us as little people that live in the area. So thank you for your time.
All right. Housekeeping, we have the motion to approve the minutes, or not approve the minutes, or make changes, what? No. Looking at you, are you making the motion as I open? See?
To approve the minutes?
Yeah.
I would like to approve the minutes. Motion for that, please.
I'll second it.
Any other comments or questions in regards to the minutes? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
No one's opposed. All right, unfinished business, planning department update.
Yes, so nice long staff report for you guys on this go around, considering we hadn't met since March 12th. So I don't think I have anything additional to add, but if there's any questions, I'm happy to address those.
The question, I see in Maple Grove Township, entered the contract with the zoning blight administration, just actually point of information, have they written adequate zoning for blight for us to actually enforce it properly?
So I know that they have some blight addressed within their zoning ordinance, some definitions and regulations as it relates to blight. It's been a slow handoff from the township with us acquiring all the documents that we need to fully understand all of the ordinances and things that they have in place. I had a conversation with Wayne Beldo, the township supervisor, about sending us documents, existing permits, and he did mention that there were a handful of blight cases that he was going to turn over. So we have not yet received a standalone blight ordinance from the township, but we have been inquiring, asking for all of those relevant documents. So, and the applications and questions have been rolling in from Maple Grove Township residents. So what we're doing with this contract too, considering it's a first year that we have them under, our umbrella, is that we did a 1-year contract. Well, it's kind of a year and 4 months. It'll run through September of 2027, and we are tracking the time that we spend on every inquiry, every application, and then we will have that data handy for when this contract expires, so that we can, on the one hand, assess how much time we're putting into the Blight and Zoning Administration. And then also if that warrants, which I do anticipate it warranting an increase to their contract, that we will, talk about that at that time. So, yeah, I mean, it's been busy, but to answer your question in short, we have not seen the blight ordinance yet, but we are working on acquiring all of those documents from the township.
Are they on board with the process, the proper process for the filing of reports of likely to be investigated?
I have not had any questions come through. We do detail that pretty well in the contract that they've entered. So, you know, with providing that information in their contract for services, I would hope that they're of the understanding of how we handle things. So, and I did go to their board in person. You know, Wayne is always really responsive to us when we call on the phone. So, yeah, I think that's something that, you know, I could probably try to sit down with the board members and get more into detail with, but we're kind of easing in at their pace and you know, our door's always open if they have questions on how things are supposed to go.
Well, I'm just asking to make sure we streamline the process. What we've seen, what wasn't streamlined, what
Yes.
happens.
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
To kind of clarify, because we do have some users, some of the townships have contracts with the planning department to do their zoning or, you know, their various parts. Not all of them do. So Maple is the newest one to sign a contract with, working with the planning department here to do that. So that's kind of why, yeah. So, Norman has not signed for that yet. So, okay, anything else for Katie?
My staff report is next. It was a heavy spring with zoning administration. It was really nice to have Mike Serbrook, our full-time code enforcement officer, and zoning administrator support staff to get through the busy season. You guys can see I have been on the phone and then emails with a lot of zoning inquiries and getting the bigger requests through as they come up. And then a little bit of recognition, plan writing, mostly zoning.
Questions? Comments? Alrighty, meetings and trainings. Well, we have the other reports too.
The code enforcement.
They can.
The code enforcement report as well that Mike puts together, if there's any questions on that.
We still haven't finished up with the gold property? Seems like it.
So that one has been a topic of discussion at the township board meetings. I've attended the last couple of township board meetings for our zoning and blight contract. We have been talking about it. That one has a court order, like a consent agreement, and it's kind of out of our hands, not entirely, but we're kind of at the whim of our township officials with following through that consent agreement. So Mike Serbrook is very aware, and he's ready to go, and the township is ready to go. I do believe the township is feeling ready, at least most of their board. So I'm hopeful that this is something that is going to be addressed this summer, but we are just we're waiting, we're ready to go when they are, yes. Yep.
Any other questions? Okay. So, then meeting
Save me for last.
Okay, save you for last, okay.
And only give
Bill.
them, only give them 3 minutes.
Okay, yeah, I will.
No, I haven't attended.
Okay.
Last thing I attended was a community meeting, but I think they haven't had one for the last one.
This month I attended an invasive species committee meeting for Orange Lake and City Tree Commission meeting.
Are you on the city tree commission?
I'm administering the urban community forestry grant.
Oh, yeah, you
so-
talked about that before. Cool.
So that we're wrapping up the inventory this month. We have some tree risk assessments to do, and we are moving into identifying plantable areas and hazard trees that will take place next spring.
Nice.
Planning commission, several redevelopment of the brownfield meetings, recreation commission, several there. I attended the presentation of MSU on the data centers. I found interesting and been well, I came up, not appropriate at this time, but I came away with, I didn't get answers on these data centers. And I'm not sure if it was just my ability to comprehend what they were saying or not. It seems very complex. And if you type, there's what, 4 different types of data centers, use different types of cooling, condensation or whatever. I heard a lot of those things. I didn't see any, I would say, meshing for us to help come up with policy.
And if I could add to that, because I attended that training as well, and Jody and I have done a different data center training for the Michigan Association of Planning. And I do find, and this is just my like perspective, when we have these new land uses, things that are exciting, and even like thinking about renewable energy or the short-term rentals, things that can be controversial, it's difficult for educators in the planning and zoning field to kind of give any advice because it becomes like a legal dance where, we all do that. I'm not an attorney, and until there's case law and like specific cases that kind of show the outcome in communities on how things shook out, they can't really give specific, like, this is what you should do, this is what you shouldn't do. All that they can really do is like present the facts and what they know. Something that I gathered from it, that I really liked the point that Dr. Mills was saying, Sarah Mills was saying, is that with any type of land use, try to create regulation that controls the undesirable outcome. So without like outright banning a use, or don't just put in 200-foot setbacks because you don't want to see it. Like, think about what kind of screening or what kind of buffering you might be able to implement. If noise is your concern, adopt a noise ordinance. So that was the biggest thing that I got out of it from like a regulatory standpoint. But I do see where you're coming from, that sometimes we're looking for, like, come on, tell me, give me a little bit more. And I think when things are so new, there's not like the case studies out there for examples of what went well, what didn't go well, what you should and shouldn't do.
Well, I think every data center is an entity into itself.
That too. It's very case by case.
A 5-year-old built data center is not a reflection of what one would be built today either.
It's already out of date.
Yeah, that's true, it's a developing.
Changes every day.
I'm just hoping to try and avoid mistakes.
Still gonna make them.
Oh, yeah, we're human. We're human. Minimize.
Yeah,
Use that
minimize,
term.
yeah.
Minimize mistakes. Thank you.
And then had you done was it Betsy?
I'm sorry?
Wasn't there a Betsy River? Did you go to that?
We have a meeting on July 7th. We got
July
a
7th,
hearing
okay.
then.
And you're
So
still
we did not
planning?
have one this last month.
Okay, you're still planning on going to that,
Oh, yeah.
because you'll let me know if you're not,
Yep.
then I get to go.
You can go too.
Well, if you're not going, I'm your alternate, remember?
You can come with you if you want.
Okay.
Thank you.
Land bank,
last week. I think is the only thing I've additional been to other than Brownfield. We all know that. And we freed up a little, reallocated some money from some other blight elimination funds and managed to point that at another project down on 3rd Street, Third and 7th, yeah. And there's a big ugly building that has been in need of elimination for a long time, and that's gonna happen. But we're gonna award a contract. next
Hopefully,
meeting, right?
yeah, the RFP is out. If you know any demo contractors out there who wanna bid on a demo in the city, the RFP is active, and I think we're accepting bids until July 2nd, if I'm remembering correctly, at 4 o'clock. So, yeah, we're anticipating selecting a contractor on the 7th or 8th of July, and my hope is that they can get that thing torn down before the end of July. That'd be glorious, so.
I was gonna say, there's probably a lot of people that would like to
Yeah.
do the demo, but they can't, aren't qualified.
Yes, right, I'm sure there's a lot of people who'd like to knock it down.
Would like to go on. Yeah.
Is that the old glass shop?
People say Old Candy Mountain, if that means
Yeah,
anything.
Candy
it
Mountain.
was originally
Yeah.
a glass shop.
Okay,
Yeah,
And
way
then
down
there was the
recently.
penny candy,
Okay.
and it wasn't
Yeah.
penny candy.
Dale Picardo.
Yeah.
Yeah, there was a barber shop in one corner of it, yeah,
it's got like 3 apartments and then a commercial,
right.
yeah.
Was
mhm.
that jewelry shop at one point?
Oh, I don't know, that would've been 100 years ago, I guess. but
Yeah.
It's been there a long time, and environmental showed, there wasn't any,
It was low levels of mercury
Okay.
that was determined to be under the, like Eagle threshold
Cleaner
for.
threshold.
Right, exactly. Mhm.
so that's
Yeah.
going away. Other than that, I guess that's, is there anything else from land bank that we needed to talk about? I don't think so.
We just have our last 2 blight elimination projects that are wrapping up. The
Well,
Hotel Northern is the
And First Street.
stabilization, and then 518 First Street. That one got a clean bill, all contamination's
Good.
out. Yep, we just need to get
Nice.
the last of the contaminated soils off the property, which
yeah,
has a
and that has
special
to be trucked to
Detroit.
a special landfill, that's why it's taking longer than anybody thought.
Yeah,
Plus they found it.
Well, they did, and then they dug that out, now it's sitting there waiting
And
to get hauled off,
it's just
so.
good that the original pile hadn't moved yet.
Right.
Mhm.
Otherwise we'd have to truck it twice.
So, but that's being wrapped up, and beyond that, Hotel Northern is kind of the last remaining big thing.
yeah.
So,
I thought when you first said the money that you were solving the brownfield that we had last week for
No.
helping
No.
Habitat, I was like,
No.
this is all taken care of, and then it's
Yeah.
like,
Not-
no,
not
we're not
yet.
even going there.
Not that.
Not yet.
All right.
Well, and one more thing I will say about the land bank that I just think is really cool, through the 4 rounds of this blight elimination program, and it's been several years in the making, Manistee County has brought in, through Land Bank Authority, right around $3 million in grant funding for demolitions, stabilizations, all across the county. We did some in Village of Bear Lake, Manistee Township, the city, so it's been really, really cool.
Doing some good stuff,
Mhm.
too, sure.
Clean it up, yeah, that's great.
Well, I've sat in on the data center thing as well. I don't think I really pulled a whole lot out of it myself, but I probably know a little bit more than the average parent, but I've been involved with it a little bit. The county board meeting, we agreed to have some of our land cut for wood harvest, which we do anywhere from about every 15 to 20 years, as we rotate the cut. That's ongoing. I've had a lot of meetings in regard to the fire consolidation, if you will, around the Manistee Lake area. So I've got a little different perspective on that than what they currently are looking at. They're currently looking at 4 stations. I'm not a fan of 4 stations, because I trying to staff 4 stations would be a small nightmare, if not a large nightmare. And if you get the price too high, it's not gonna pass. And I think it's something that needs to happen, because our current volunteer system is broken. And if you don't start embracing some change, it's not going to move forward.
Now, is that countywide or just half of the county?
No, that's
doing
just
that?
Estronic,
That's what I was
Filer,
thinking.
the city, Manistee Township, and Onega
Okay.
Township.
Now, East Lake's not gonna have anything to do with that.
I'm sure they could, they're inside the township of Manistee, but they kinda got their own little game over there, so. But that's
they already have.
I'm an advocate for having one south of the channel and one north of the channel. And I think the perfect place, you know, pulling locations, probably the airport would be a great spot, but there isn't one there, so you utilize what you have currently as opposed to building a new. And then you target where you'd like to buy it, or build if you could. And then if you can get some earmarks or what have you, that might be move things forward. I met with the tribe yesterday in regard to the casino. You got 3 different entities in the tribe. As Glenn knows, it's hard to know who to talk to get what done. And then I thought it was me, in my perfect world, I'd probably put one down somewhere around the bungalow. Or, you know, maybe the top of the hill somewhere in Filer. But again, utilize what you have until you need to change it up.
That'd be quite an expense to build 4 stations.
Well, they wouldn't build 4 new stations, they use what they've currently got, but it would be quite expensive to have 4 stations staffed, 24/7.
With the existing, agreements for mutual aid support, would those carry over to this group, or how is that?
I would assume there's gonna be a new form of that, but yeah, I mean, it's not like they're gonna play ball in their own yard and not go beyond. But there could be charges that go, when they go beyond. It's still in its infancy, and they put a lot of time into it.
And I know that the concern in terms of, finding people to do this.
Oh, it's tough. The
you know,
regulations.
And they wanted the career techs to step in. The students aren't old enough yet they can get that, but they can't get certified. I mean, they're exposed, they're given that as here's a possible, out there, but they can't get any of the certifications through their high school experience. So I think West Shore was looking at having something. But yeah, but it wasn't because the schools were refusing. I know there was a lot of confusion with that they were saying, you know, no, we can't give them certifications because of the age group.
MMR is concerned about losing some of their business for their current model, and got them to the table, and again, we're trying to. As I told everybody involved, that you don't wanna go to the ballot box until you know you got a product you can sell. Because right now, and I don't think we're there personally. That's just according to me anyway. Just one perspective.
How many of the townships that are gonna be involved in this already have a fire millage?
I don't know the answer to that, Phil. I know Oneka's got one. I don't know about Stronach and Filer.
Stronach has one.
You know, the city, it's general fund money. I don't believe we have one at Manistee Township. We have had them for equipment purchases over the years, but I don't think we have a dedicated millage for fire. But I'm not 100% on that.
That's gonna
I'd have to look at my next tax bill.
That'll all have to go in ballot boxes too.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, yeah. And I wouldn't be in a rush to, like I said, I wouldn't rush it to watch it fail. You need to make sure you got a good product before you put it on. You gotta be able to look people in the eye and say, this is the way we need to go and why.
Any others?
Lots, but nothing of note.
Nothing.
Yeah.
Alright, so what you're all been waiting for, we're finally at that point in our agenda. And it's to look at, for the Norman Township, what Norman Township had put in for a zoning ordinance amendment.
Mary, if I may, we have broke these up into 2 zoning reviews. So the ZR 2603, ZR 2604, and that's our internal, tracking system for the zoning reviews that come through for the County Planning Commission to review. So the first one that you all will see in your packet, we always like to do the cover memo and then our staff analysis. So I'll let Jody present, ZR 2603 since she put together that staff analysis.
ZR 2603 is addressing childcare. The Norman Township received a presentation from Networks Northwest, who's working with Community Foundation to amend the zoning ordinance and come into compliance with the state law that has added some regulation to make it a little bit easier, more feasible to add childcare to the existing zoning districts. And so they heard the presentation, and they are looking for recommendation. And the reasons of support is that it aligns with the state regulations to address the current childcare scarcity that's present in our county, consistent and aligns with the neighborhood zoning districts, and the proposed added uses preserve the intended zoning district character. So they thoughtfully put, you know, where a child care center is something bigger than an at-home daycare is more in the commercial than in smaller residential areas. So I thought they were thoughtful in the way that they went about it in my review.
And then I would just like to add that with this whole initiative, this childcare amendment, we should be seeing more of these come forward. And the planning department, like Manistee County, has partnered with the Community Foundation as well. Manistee County did a monetary contribution, and then us as staff have been in-kind contribution to the project. We put on an RFP, the Community Foundation, with the opinions of us, like we said in all the meetings, selected Networks Northwest. Granted, they were our only bidder for a consultant to take on this work, but they have analyzed every single zoning ordinance within Manistee County. And with the recent amendments to the state child care regulation, a lot of our zoning ordinances fell out of compliance with very kind of minor things like the number of children that constitutes a family daycare home versus a group daycare home, and that for example, a family daycare home, 1 to 7 children, it can't be treated as a special use. It can't be treated any differently than any other single-family residential use. So there's many zoning ordinances across the county that list a family daycare home as like 1 to 6 kids and maybe as a special use in a residential district. So really not compliant with the state regulation. And this whole analysis of every zoning ordinance, plus the educational presentation that Jody mentioned, is bringing consistency and compliance to all of our zoning regulations across the county. So we should be seeing more of this come forward, and just to give you the context, that's where this is coming from.
And I like that we make up something that's going to be consistent throughout our county.
Yeah.
I don't think there's anybody pushing against it, is there? For countywide, that this will end up countywide, and this is pretty exciting.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, because then any childcare business coming in will have the same definitions, you know, similar allowable districts for things like daycare centers. Yeah, it should streamline any childcare business that wants to come into Manistee County. So with that, we'll take any additional questions, and are seeking a motion to accept the staff report and recommend to Norman Township the approval of the zoning amendments as presented, and distribute the staff analysis to the Norman Township Planning Commission.
Any questions or comments? All those in favor, say aye. Anyone opposed? And I have looked over the conflict of interest statement to see if there was a reason that I would need to step back, but I'm not in the daycare business. I'm not looking to do, and this is simply accepting what the staff's report is. So I didn't see a conflict, so I did vote. So, but if anybody had any concerns in terms of that, I just wanted to mention that. Because then we'll go on to the other one, which is the solar, the zoning change, and I don't know if
If you'd like, I can run through the staff analysis since I have done this one. So same thing as the last amendment, we're calling this one CR 2604, and we have the cover memo kind of highlighting what was pulled from the staff analysis. that could be sent to Norman Township with or without modification. Through my review of this proposed zoning amendment, and this was how it was sent to us from the township, this was brought forward by an interested party. I do want to highlight, in case there's any questions on this, that although the application lists a specific property, this is a proposal to amend the allowable uses of the entire agricultural residential district. So per the Zoning Enabling Act, in those instances, although we have a particular property in mind, there is no requirement to notify surrounding landowners. And I know that came up in public comment, and when we have a particular property in mind, it's hard to separate that this amendment isn't just for this particular property, but I wanted to make sure it was clear for all those in the room that this is a district-wide proposal. And some of the things that I found through my analysis is that Norman Township's master plan does not specifically address small-scale solar developments, but allowing it as a proposed special land use will give the Planning Commission the authority to evaluate on a case-by-case basis and impose special conditions as they see fit. And when we think about this type of use, it's generally conducive with agricultural districts due to them containing large open tracts of land that solar developers seek. And then also that Norman Township doesn't currently allow for this type of use. So being conscious of exclusionary zoning, the Michigan Zoning Enabling Act says that if there's a need shown for a use within your district or within your community, you can't entirely exclude that use. So those things, along with some of the things listed in my staff recommendation, is why through this, staff would recommend approval of the proposed zoning amendment. A couple other things that I didn't mention in my staff report, which I'm happy to add if the Planning Commission sees fit, is that although Norman Township's master plan is silent on solar development, the purpose of a county review of our local jurisdictions, master plans and zoning ordinances, is to ensure that they are not adversely impacting surrounding jurisdictions. We are that regional perspective. So we're looking at it from not just what's best, not the specifics of what, setbacks or screening requirements or things like that are in place, but that it's generally conducive with surrounding jurisdictions and isn't in direct violation of their local master plan or the county's master plan. As you all know, we adopted a new county master plan in 2025, and this is what I failed to include in my staff analysis, but would be happy to add. Solar is mentioned on 3 occasions within the county master plan. One being in our low-density residential on our future land use map. Recommended uses is solar energy and ancillary activities. Also mentioned under our agricultural district of our future land use map is solar energy and ancillary activities. So when we think of an agricultural residential district, it actually is recommended by the county master plan to allow for this type of use for the reasons, that I've listed previously. It's conducive with this flat open landscape. And then the last spot where it's mentioned in the county master plan is under goals for infrastructure and transportation. We have the goal to encourage renewable energy sources to support Manistee's quality and reliability. So those were just a couple additional things that I wanted to add in addition to this staff report. And with that, I will take any questions, comments, concerns on anything that I've presented or anything that's contained within the written staff report.
Do other townships have similar amendments to their zoning?
So of the communities that we administer for, those are the only ones I would know more off the top of my head. I'm trying to think.
I think personal solar panels are usually treated like accessory. Yeah. And but I can't think of it. If it was like Arcadia Township, I believe that it would be a special use.
Right. I think it's more traditionally a special use. Quite honestly, we haven't had a proposal like this come forward. I know that there was a preliminary, I don't know how far it got in Manistee Township for.
That's been talked about for, I bet you 10 years.
Right, and the only reason I know about that is because people used to call me when I first started here and ask me about the solar proposal, and I'm like,
Nothing.
I don't know what you're like, yeah, and it wasn't in Onekma Township, people would think it was Onekma, but I think it was like,
Manistee.
yeah, the north side of Manistee. So it hasn't really come forward in some of our other communities, and a use like this isn't appropriate for our villages, so I know it's not really something that's listed in the village ordinances. It may be allowable under the standard industrial classification codes that Onekma Township uses in ag, because they kind of really open it up, but it would be a special land use if it is allowed. So, yeah, I don't know definitively that we have this use specifically listed in our other communities, but it hasn't been something that's really come forward, at least in my time here.
Under a special use permit, now, wouldn't that make the planning board of, Grant, is it Grant Township? Norman Township, they would have to have public hearings and things like that.
Right,
correct.
So
We're-
all these people would have a chance to say something.
Right,
Yes.
exactly.
Yeah.
We're only in step 2, and that was to get the paper that we realized we didn't have it in zoning. We couldn't address this and the application to change our zoning is the only thing that has been acted on. We have not made any decisions on this particular, because we don't have an application that they're actually gonna come through. It's kinda like Jeff said, it kinda gets kicked around, there gets a feeler, and then whether or not they show up. Because
Is it similar possibly to the AI plant that they were gonna, the rumor was they were putting in Stronach, and that would be under a special use permit, and we would have to have a lot of public hearings and different things. Yeah, we had 300 and some people show up at a meeting, saying that there was no way you were gonna be able to allow this, and we couldn't do this, and we weren't doing anything.
right, and that's exactly where it's at with Norman. We're not doing anything with that property. We're simply cleaning up our language right now in terms of what is, and I kind of switched hats because I am on that planning. I think it's probably you knew when you came in today. And so it's simply getting that language in there so we can even look at if they bring an application forward. And then we are going to have that environmental study will have to be done. We're well aware of all of that, and so there's already people that are being looked at that will be coming in, that would be as well as the public meetings. This is down the road. I think the next step, though, it goes back, the county sends the report back to the township then decides to turn it back to us, I believe, to the planning.
Yeah, because the
From
planning
that, with
commission
the-
holds their public hearing, and then after the planning commission holds their public hearing and makes their recommendation, the local township planning commission, the zoning enabling act requires them to send it to the county for review. If we don't respond within 30 days, we've waived our right for review. And then once that 30 days is up, then the township planning commission gathers their recommendation along with the county's recommendation and presents that to the township board. And the township board can approve the zoning amendment as recommended by the planning commission. They can deny the proposed amendment as they see fit, or they can even modify. If it starts to become modified beyond like the original intent of that zoning amendment, typically your attorney's gonna recommend, okay, start over. We can't start talking about something completely different. It's gotta be within that realm, but that's the process in a nutshell.
So right now, if we were to give, in essence, our approval to your recommendations here, that's merely setting the stage for the actual discussion with all the residents.
Yeah,
Because
it's not our approval
Right,
project.
that's what I
Right.
was thinking, yeah, we're not approving the project.
Yeah, there is no project at
No.
this
Exactly.
point.
And
But
it's
that
all-
gets confusing because the project forced us to have to look at.
Mhm.
That's where the confusion
So
comes in.
let me help out. If I was sitting in the seats to be this, would be listed a bunch of gobbledygook.
Yeah.
But I'll tell you, here's the flow, and correct me if I'm wrong when I say this. I'm gonna put it very simple. these things come to us for a recommendation, either yay or nay. And we have to approve or deny based on the Zoning Enabling Act and the law. So if it comes and hits these guidelines, we gotta say yay. It's irrelevant if we say yay or nay on any of this stuff. It's gonna go back to the township. The township in Michigan, township rules supreme on land use. Period, end of story. The county, every county doesn't even have a county planning commission. It's not unique, but it's not unheard of for a county not to have a planning commission either. So again, if you came in today thinking that you're going to have a say in regard to it, you've got a say from your public input point. But when it's all said and done, all this does is we say yay or nay, goes back to the planning, and then they take it and wrestle with it to the township. Because again, the township rules on these issues, period. Now, when it comes to zoning on land, when it comes to solar and wind, Lansing has weighed in, and Lansing has told the locals to pound sand. And I've got problems with that. I think you probably do too. But that, again, I want to shorten it and condense it and put it out there solid so you understand it.
Yeah, thank you for that. Simply a recommending body, and I just want to reiterate the fact that as a county planning commission, we're not getting into the weeds and the specifics of the zoning. We are looking at it from the lens of our county master plan, and if it's consistent or, you know, that it's not going to adversely impact surrounding jurisdictions. That's our main purpose with the county review.
So, any other questions? I have a motion in regards to the staff recommendations.
And staff is
Do you want
seeking a motion to recommend approval of the zoning amendments as presented and provide the staff analysis to Norman Township Planning Commission.
Is this motion covering both ZR
We already did.
03?
We did that one already.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's separate, yeah.
Yes.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
Any other questions or comments? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
And opposed, and again, being on both, I didn't see the conflict in reading that, but I did want to be transparent. We have a job here, and I have a job there. And hopefully the one thing that I have been able to say here to you today, we're not by any means done. And there is no decisions made. We have not taken a vote on that. We have simply cleaned up our language, which I am very proud of Norman Township to continue to clean up their language.
Most special use permits
And
take
having
years.
what we need to have. And I was happy to hear it. So, I knew I read about the solar and I'm like, how did we miss that on the master plan? We were doing this county master plan at the same time. So, I knew that I had paid attention to it somewhere, but it wasn't in our Norman, it was here, so.
Well, and just to be clear, by approving that recommendation is by no means an endorsement of that project.
No,
Correct.
no. And that's,
I'm no fan of solar in general, and, so that's not an endorsement of the project, it's just putting the control back in the township's hands to let them do what they're supposed to do. 'Cause
If anybody wants to look at solar, just go east of Hart.
There you go.
Oh,
They got a massive one going.
Oh, my God.
I don't
You've
know
got
if
one
you-
going on over in 66 that would scare you.
Well, that one scared me when I drove through there the other day.
yeah.
Over that way, Lake City,
Oh, yeah, that one.
and they're just gobbling it up like wild turkeys.
And I was, yeah, cause was that the land that is Michigan State? It's getting pretty close to where that Michigan State farm was. And but I wasn't sure. I was gonna ask my dad.
Well, it seems like just all the farmland that we're losing, it's just unbelievable.
They belong in the desert.
Exactly right.
Yeah.
But AI is gonna be great. Searchlight Nevada, perfect spot for it.
See, I've been by some places that have smaller solar farms,
Yeah.
they don't look bad. They're not on Main Street, they're not.
still
They
ruined,
look like eyesore.
they still ruin the dirt
They,
underneath
they
them.
look like they fit where they put them. Like there was a little common sense in there when they did it.
Well, and that is the language that we just approved is a smaller. We did not approve for larger in well, in that is the change that they made. Okay, maybe nothing more on that, so we now go to, and you're welcome to stay, if you would like to stay for the rest of our meeting. We have election of officers, committee assignments, and any other business.
It's exciting stuff.
Exciting stuff.